So here we are on a beautiful day in sunny North Wales, and we're at Talacre Beach, sand dunes, and today we've come to see a couple of things, but I'd like you to take a look at the sign to my left and read the information upon it. Now, one of the things it'll say is that this particular area is of scientific interest. That's because of the natterjack toad reserve, which is here. It's one of the few breeding areas of natterjack toads in the country. We'll also be having a walk on the dunes, and we'll also having a walk along the beach and taking a look at the lighthouse. Now, this particular lighthouse is probably the most photographed lighthouse in North Wales. Many photographs of this lighthouse in all kinds of different lighting and in positions, and a great favourite with the photographers who like to do high dynamic range. Anyway, that's enough of my ramblings. We'll now go and take a look. For those of you who are not wearing particularly strong shoes or walking boots, or if there's anybody with any mobility issues, then taking the higher path, which is the path behind me, is probably a better option. So, some information on this board about the natterjack toad. We'll be walking up there and having a look at the breeding pools. But the information is here for you to read and consume. Notice it's in both Welsh and English. The rain has now finally stopped, and the wind is getting up, but apart from that, yeah, I think it'll make the walk over the dunes and down to the lighthouse rather enjoyable. Here we are, stood in front of another information board, this time showing the actual coastline of Flintshire and the estuary. And if you look on this map, the coastline, you'll be able to see where we are, which is up here at Talacre. Here's a lighthouse that we're going to. And if you go down, you'll actually go all the way down to Flint and Flint Castle, which was where we were the other day filming Flint Castle. And of course, straight down the estuary, it gets smaller and smaller until it turns into the River Dee and goes into Chester. Very interesting coastline. Lots of history. For those of you who are interested in World War I, World War II, military matters, there's also some information at the beginning of this wooden walkway about Talacre's role during the Second World War. And if you'd like to read the board, then Mark will zoom in for you and give you a few seconds to actually read the information. Of course, you can always pause. Here we are, the lighthouse behind me. Now the lighthouse is locked up. Not an awful lot of point in going all the way over there. We can't go inside. The picture that the image you see now is probably one of the most taken images of the lighthouse around. These slabs of stone that you can see in front of me are the remains of the walkway which stretch across the sands to the lighthouse to give access to the people who came to operate the lighthouse. But over many years, tides coming and going. The majority of the rocks have been washed to the side and become disheveled, and sadly, these rocks, this line of rocks, is all that's left from the original causeway that was built. We're now gonna start making our way back. We've got to go along the sand dunes, and the sand dunes stretch quite a way, a few miles. We won't be walking a few miles down the sand dunes, but we'll walk down a little way, and then we'll go and have a look at the natterjack breeding ponds. Here we are on top of the dunes. The estuary's in front of me, as is the lighthouse. And now we're going to take a walk along the dunes, and that should give you some idea what the dunes are actually like. So here we are at the entrance to the natterjack toad sanctuary and breeding ponds, and we're going to take a walk down to the ponds and take a look. Now, obviously it's late autumn at the moment and the toads are in hibernation, so other than a quick look at the ponds, there's not an awful great lot to see at the moment. If you're over here in the summer, or particularly in the spring, then you will hear the toads croaking in the evening, calling out, trying to attract a mate. And that's quite enjoyable, listening to the toads trying to attract a lady toad. I've often considered trying that myself. I don't think it'd work though. Walking down the path to the ponds, and the ponds are over on the left of the path. And you should just start to encounter one now to the left. As you can see, the pond is full of water. It's a reed bed, perfect habitat for natterjack toads. There are several ponds. Obviously the ponds are are wired off, keep out animals, give them the best chance of survival as possible. I think the worst predation is from herons. Luckily, there's not an awful lot of herons along this coastline. There are some though. There are also grass snakes and lizards on these sand dunes and in this particular area, and even adders. A very beautiful spot, rugged, but still beautiful.